With that, we're going to go to action is necessary on matters discussed in executive session. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the selected employment items for action listed in Exhibit A.
Is there a second? Ms. Gardner seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? 7, and that passes 7-0.
I have another.
You have one? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Under item 3C, contractual matter land survey at Irmo High School, Exhibit C, I move that we direct the district to award to Carolina Surveying Services Incorporated to complete the land survey at Irmo High School.
Is there a second? A second, Ms. Huddle. Any discussion? Seeing none, there we'll vote on it, and that is 7, passes 7-0. I think that's it for executive session. Number 13, approval of textbook adoptions, K through 8 science, Exhibit D.
Yes, at this time, I'm going to ask our Chief of Academics and Administration, Ms. Anna Miller, to come forward with our adoption of science textbooks.
Thank you. Once again, Madam Chair, school board members, and Dr. Ross, we bring to you tonight a recommendation for adopting our science textbooks, kindergarten through 8th grade. I'd like to thank our coordinators for being here with us this evening, especially Beth Boland, who is our science coordinator, Melanie Sanford, our social studies coordinator, and Dr. Robin Cox, our English language arts coordinator and textbook coordinator. Especially, I would like to thank Beth Boland for her hard work, all the committees, the administrators, the parents, the teachers who served on these committees for us to be able to bring this recommendation forth to you tonight. I want to give you a little bit of history on where this started and where we are now, and then we'll certainly take any questions that you may have. So at the state level, committees reviewed the K through 8 science instructional materials beginning in the summer of 2021. And then based on those state committee recommendations, the State Department of Education held a public review period from November 9th to December 9th of 2021. And then the State Board of Education approved the recommendations for K through 8 science on December 14th. Using the list of approved textbooks from the State Department of Education and following our own board policy, IJJ, textbook selection and adoption, the district selection process began in January of 2022. Final recommendations from the district committees, which, as I said, consisted of administrators, teachers, and parents, were made by the end of March and are being brought forward for board review and approval. So the administration supports the approval of these textbooks and recommends that the board approve these textbook adoptions for the 22-23 school year in K through 8 science.
Any questions thus far? Y'all are the experts. See, we're just listening to you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the textbook adoptions for K through 8 science per Exhibit D.
All right, a second? I see Ms. Gardner seconds now. Any questions? Well, good job. Then we'll vote on them. All those in favor? Approving the textbooks. And that is 7-0. We go to 14, discussion and approval of strategic plan amendment. And I think this is just a matter of a date. Am I right, Dr. Ross? I'll let you.
We're going to let Dr. Van Holden bring forth this amendment. We did post it online
Thank
earlier
you.
today.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I had somebody ask that we didn't have an attachment to it, but since it was already been in there, I think we just posted it online. Thank you.
So over the last year and a half, we've been working on our new 5-year strategic plan that goes back to the 2021 school year. During the 1920 school year, which was the 4th year of the previous plan, the South Carolina Department of Education gave all districts in the state the flexibility to delay their updates during that 4th year if you were in your 4th year. As a result, our district chose to delay that. That was the year of COVID, so we were having trouble getting signatures and all the other things that would be associated with the documents. So many districts in the state elected to delay that fourth update until the 2021 school year. As a result, the state has now decided that's changed the timelines for some of our 5-year plans. Some districts, such as ours, treated the 2021 update as a fourth and fifth because it was inclusive of the fourth and fifth updates, given that the COVID closures began in that March of 2020, and that was very close to the actual update time for the 1920 updates. As a result of the state kind of looking at that issue for the last year of the different timelines that have been created for strategic plans and 5-year plans, the state is now asking that any district that was on a 15-16 to 2021 strategic plan and delayed their update in 1920, which would be District 5 would be one of those districts, adopt a timeline of 2022-23 through 2026-27 for their new strategic plans. Our district and schools have worked diligently over the course of the last year and a half to conduct a needs assessment, create new goals, identify strategies, develop actions that would lead us to that point. So our current recommendation, based on the state guidance and the work that we've done over the last year and a half on the new plans at the district and the school level, is that we keep the existing goals, strategies, and actions, but adjust the timeline in those documents. Of course, you saw the recent documents that were submitted with the new plan updates. You, of course, saw the strategies back in December, and you saw the goals back last June. So this is a process we've been working on diligently over that time. The adjustment that we'd be making here in that timeline of switching from 2021, 22, 20, 25, 26 to 22, 23, and 26, 27 would be one that we could handle internally in the accountability department. We could actually, because of how we've changed our submission process this year, we could actually make that change for every single school, and it would go into effect this summer. We would simply work with the state to say, this is what we've turned in, this is what we've already submitted to the board for approval, this is what we've already gotten signed at the school and the district level. We would simply make that adjustment this summer to all those documents. I would also say that change actually puts us in a better position from a planning standpoint in terms of being able to have a plan set up that we're working on that is for the next year. And then we'd be able to work over the summer to refine those plans with the Office of Academics and Administration, with each of our schools, with the Office of Human Resources, with our facilities teams as well, and our operations teams. It actually puts us in a much better position to implement some of those changes system-wide, and then to make sure that we're moving forward with the aims that we've long held in terms of how we want to approach strategic planning in the district. So again, that recommendation is that we would keep the existing goals, keep the existing strategies and actions, but look at adjusting that timeline to put us in compliance with the state's more recent guidance on this issue. This time, if there's any questions, I'll take those, and if not, I'll turn it back over to Dr. Ross.
Ms. Huddle.
So the plan we already approved, technically, was that the 21, 22, or what is that called, what we already approved?
We officially had phrased that as the 2021-22 through 2025-2026 strategic plan. What the state is asking now is that you just essentially add 1 year to each of those numbers. So now it would be 2022-2023 through 2026-2027. That is the change that is the state has requested. And again, that would put all districts that were on our cycle, put them back on the same timeline, as opposed to having some of us that are done with the plans and some that are not done with the plans.
So say that one more time.
Yep. All right, so we're going the one we initially presented to you, and we've been talking about for a while. We've always phrased it as 2021-22 through 2025-26. And now what we're asking is that we would move to 2022-23 through 2026-27.
Got that, Ms.
And
Huddle.
it's a tongue twister for me as well, so I appreciate you bearing with me as I tried to explain that little piece.
You got it. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Huddle.
So you don't need, do you need a motion from us?
I think we need a motion because we have to change it. Am I correct? We put it on the action. I was told we needed it.
We would need a motion. You can go back to the recommendation.
I'm sorry.
That would be the motion.
Okay, to adjust the timeline. Do you
So
mind doing
I move that we adjust the timeline for the strategic plan to change it to 2022-23 through 2026-27.
Is there a second? Ms. Gardner seconds. Does everybody understand it, or you need it? Tell Ms. Hines.
I have a question.
Certainly.
Okay. All right. So is another way to put this that we're just extending it another year because we're in 2021, 22 right now?
Yes, correct.
I'm just
Essentially,
making sure that I,
yes, this is a very minor point, but yes, we are essentially just, it essentially extends the whole thing another year and puts the official first year of implementation at 22, 23. Yes, that is correct.
just making sure.
Yep,
And it got messed up because of COVID, was my understanding.
that is
in the
correct.
first
It
place.
delayed the fourth year of the update, so there's been this confusion statewide. And now that the
Exactly.
state's new guidance is that piece,
'Cause
correct?
I think that, we were explained to that, with the former superintendent explained that to us. So this is just changing the timeline. So yes, ma'am?
Just a question, because I might not fully understand. The 5-year plan, do we still report yearly sort of our progress?
Yes.
So we were, I hate to use the word judge, but we were evaluated basically on this same plan, but it'll be for 6 years instead of just the 5.
So technically, it would just be the 5 years because they wouldn't actually, and I've asked the state about this piece, so what does this year count as, given the issue here? So it would still be 2023 would be the data, the first year of the official plan there. The 2022 data is essentially, I hate to use the phrase, but a gap year. Yeah.
So that was my question. So this year's sort of a free year for some,
Yep.
a lot
And-
of school districts.
And traditionally, that is what the state does with that year in between. There's, like, for example, with our previous plan into 2015, 2016, that first year, that plan, there was that year where the state tries to give districts the flexibility of having that year to get set up on a new plan. We were just ahead and ready to move on because, frankly, we didn't really like the old plan. It was kind of outdated, and we were ready to move to a new one, system-wide.
Now, the state, that's in terms of their reporting, is next year. We're moving forward with these strategies and
Correct.
these goals, yeah.
Okay, good. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Moore?
I was just curious, do you want to repeat the dates one more time? No, I'm just
So it's,
joking. I'm just
I'd love
joking.
to. It's my favorite part.
She's being funny. Ms. Moore's funny. We love her, though. Okay, now, we can vote. Those in favor of changing this timeline, and that is 7, and it passes 7-0. Thank you so much. We are now at 15, discussion and suspension of board policy ADD face coverings, Exhibit E, and updates to face coverings resolution Exhibit F.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, we are asking for a suspension of board policy ADD face coverings and to include the face covering resolution. We're excited about what we have seen in terms of our district and the green. Dr. Harris, we actually had a few days of 0 COVID impact. And so proms are happening, visitors are in, we had in-person. We're really excited about this. While we have our dashboard, we're focused forward on in-person, keeping this going, graduation being in person. So we would ask that these policies be suspended.
Ms. Huddle?
Yes, I just wanted to, I double-checked the minutes, and we actually repealed ADD on the 5/4/21 meeting. I don't know why it's still showing online, but we did repeal that policy, so it's already been repealed. It was on May 4th, 2021, the ADD was repealed. So, I mean, somebody can double-check that, but I did. I went through all the minutes since then, and so I don't know why it's still online. I think we've already done that. And so what's really left is just a resolution, which is not policy, but so I might suggest, in fact, I'll move that we repeal the face covering resolution that was passed on May 10th, 2021.
That's just cutting out the first part, since you're saying we voted on 5/4/2021.
Yes, I believe we already repealed ADD, and so all we need to do is repeal the face covering resolution that was passed on May 10th.
Okay, so since we have not made a motion on that, if she wants to cut out part of that and the board, she can make,
I
that's
did
what I'm
make a
saying.
motion. I'm saying we
All
don't need a motion for ADD
I got you.
because it already happened.
All right, you make yours and we'll see about. All right, did I get a second?
I got,
All right, I didn't see a second. Thank you, now we can talk about it. I agree with you. So, anybody that has a problem with the reasoning from Ms. Huddle? Okay, all those in favor of repealing the resolution, and that is 7-0, so it carries. Thank you for all your research, Ms. Huddle.